is a Republican congressman from Texas. So you knew that Maxwell was going to take the fifth, right, before she showed up today?
We did. We'd figured that out. We've been through this charade now for several months.
So why bother calling her in?
Well, because we had to give the chance. We've called a lot of former officials Republicans who provided the best of information that they could and had. We have been after both President Clinton and Mrs. Clinton for quite some time. They're the ones that really made this the issue. We typically do these without the entire committee there. They've chosen to do this. We've got lots of questions they would tend to be aware of, or we'll find out what they are going to say, remembering that they're going to take an oath, and that oath means
but they may not recall. That's Hillary's big line. I really recall. But interestingly enough, Maxwell's lawyer today said publicly Presidents Trump and Clinton had nothing to do with anything untoward, right?
I think that's correct. But there are things that the committee may have on both President and Mrs. Clinton where when they don't remember, they may be reminded.
That's always a good thing, Congressman.
Isn't that, there's an old saying, facts are a stubborn thing, but there are things which have been known, and including conversations and trying to help perhaps him doing things with their government there. So there's some things that they may all of a sudden recognize. Yeah, that's my handwriting.
All right. What do you? The American public's tired of this story. If they like President Trump, if they don't like President Trump, they want to put a noose around Mr. Trump's neck and tie him some way into Epstein. But what do you want? What are you trying to demystify about Bill Clinton himself? He says he wasn't on that stupid island. He says he wasn't involved with any kind of illegality. What do you want to try to demonstrate with the former president?
Well, seemingly other people did understand what were going on behind closed doors. They seemingly did understand that perhaps people tried to get Jeffrey Epstein a job or to be a part of the government, not to pay taxes when they were there, to gain favor with them. Who paid the money? Who was providing cover for these things? These are all things that would tend to jar one's memory if confronted with ideas, perhaps facts the case. So I think it's always worthy to get it straight from them rather than just releasing data and information that by and large has not been released yet.
Do you think there'll be some new headlines here?
I think that there will be some questions.
Okay.
Certainly.
Okay. So President Clinton, do you believe, and you don't have to be specific, that wouldn't be, because you guys are doing your research, you're going to have the hearing and all that. Do you believe he's in legal jeopardy?
Well, there's always something that's said, and that is the cover-up is worse than the crime. So, and of course, as you suggested, at least Mrs. Clinton is probably going to say, I don't remember, I don't know, I forgot. Very similar to what we have heard over the last few days from a number of witnesses. And of course, we know who that is. Jack Smith did that when he was deeply involved, and yet he accuses others of not having memory. So, my point might be to the Clintons, it didn't have to come this way, and it's ended up this way.
Okay, but with Bill and Hillary, it's two different things, or you tell me if I'm wrong. Bill Clinton was an active participant in social things with Jeffrey Epstein. Everybody knows that. Pictures are out there. He's in some kind of pool, whatever. With Hillary Clinton, from my investigation, it has to do with her charitable foundation. Is that correct?
Well, there's a good bit, and that goes back to the, well, if you don't remember, let me see if I can help your memory out, documents.
Okay, so she was involved with Epstein, former Secretary of State, in a way that might be considered shady when you're trying to raise money for your charitable foundation. That's what our investigation shows. I mean, we don't have what you have, but that's the direction that I believe is in play. Am I right or wrong on that?
I would say that would certainly be the major part of this
Okay,
paperwork that does exist.
Because you know how much I want to be right, Congressman. I mean, you know. Anyway, look, we appreciate you telling the American people exactly what's going on because they can't get that in a corporate meeting. They can't get it. The information that you just gave me, and you answered every question. You didn't dodge, you didn't do this or that. They can't get it because the corporate media will not cover it unless it's Trump. Last word.
Well, I would say to you that, once again, the things which are presented before the committee at the end of the month will be probably pretty good theater. And it's my hope that there's a lot of reality that people need to answer questions or will be reminded.
All right. I hope you come back, Congressman. We really appreciate your time today.
I'd like to well enough to get invited back. And Bill, thank you. I hope you recover.
Thanks very much, sir.